earlier in the week, my wife was out driving in the VW. This is our 79 Super Beetle. And she said that she was complaining of some vibration at certain speeds. And initially I was thinking, oh, we need to get the tires balanced. So I was getting the car prepped up and ready to pull the tires off to take them in to get balanced. And I thought I'd do an inspection of ball joints and whatnot. And on this side, the driver's side, this is what I get. I don't know if you can see that. It moves quite a bit. So we need to take a look underneath and see what's loose and what needs to be adjusted or replaced. Let's get a look under the inside of the front here. All right, so this is the 1979 Super Beetle. It has McPherson struts. So it doesn't have, like you would normally see, a shock tower and springs. It has the shocks and the springs all integrated into one with the McPherson strut. The ball joints, upper and lower, are right here and right here. And then this is the tie rod end right here that connects to the control arm. So let's have a look at see what happens when we wiggle this thing. Boy, look at that. I don't know if you can see because the camera's wiggling. That tie rod end is having some problems. So you can see it's not like it's gotten loose. It's got a kingpin down there with a little pin on it to keep it from coming loose. So it didn't get loose, but somehow it's no longer doing what it's supposed to be doing. Can't be driving on the road like that. So let's get this thing taken apart and see if it's something that can be adjusted and cleaned up or if it needs to be replaced. All right, so I got the castle nut loose. It wasn't that difficult. Oddly enough, a 3/4 inch wrench worked on it, but a lot of imperial sizes and metric sizes are pretty close. And I think 3/4 is close to like a 20 or something like that, but we'll figure that out. Anyway, that's what I used to get this thing off. The real challenge was getting this pin out. These things get old and rusted, and you don't want to break them because then you have to push them through with a pin, and that's even harder. So I was able to get this out with no problems. That was my biggest fear. The other thing I wanted to look at here is preliminarily what's busted, right? So with this loose, you can see the center of the shaft right there. If this control arm is worn out, which is probably the worst case scenario because you have to replace the entire axle if the control arm is worn, then I should be able to just push this with my hand and it will come right out. But you can see it's press fit in there with a kind of a wedge fit that fits into the control arm. It's not supposed to move, and it doesn't. When I move the play, you can see that the center is not moving. This does not move. So that means that this is good. All of the play is happening up here in the tie rod end. So that means all I have to replace is just the this end portion right here. So let's go ahead and take this apart and have a look and see what's wrong with this tie rod end. So you can see I've got a puller here. This puller is for a bigger vehicle than this little Volkswagen. And you can see that the teeth on the puller are just a little wider than what this tie rod end is. So what I've done is I've taken a wrench and put the wrench in over the top of the tie rod end, and then the puller will grab the wrench. That gives me just a little bit more space that I'll need to crank this down and jank this thing off. So sometimes you got to be creative. I don't want to buy special tools if I don't have to. I've already got some special tools. Let's see if I can make the most out of the ones that I've got. All right, so I'm going to crank this down, maybe give it a little tap every now and then, and we'll back this thing off. I had to put the castle nut back on there just so I can get enough surface area, but hopefully this will come off easy peasy. All right, so there you can see, got the tie rod disconnected. This is, I don't know if you can hear, it's a grimbled up mess inside there. This is not a serviceable part, and you can't even grease it. It's intended to be hermetically sealed and never adjusted. But this car was built in 1979, so go figure. How long do you expect that to last? So anyway, the first thing that went was the grease cert, and then once it lost its lubrication, it lost its grease seal, I'm sorry, and then once it lost its lubrication, it just wore out over time. So we're going to go ahead and replace this. But it's just a tie rod end. It shouldn't be that hard to find or that difficult to replace. The trick here is that we want to capture the geometry as well we can. This piece right here this is the tie rod. It's not coming off. And we want to measure from this edge to the center of the tie rod end, this little point. We want to measure to the inside of that center. The reason being is that once we put the new one on, even just counting the threads won't guarantee that we're going to have the right length, and then the alignment will be off, right? But if you get it to the center, then you know that the geometry is going to line up with the control arm here just fine. And even if this tie rod is, you don't want to measure to the outside because the geometry might be different from the casting. So the center is the best point, and this is not going to change. So from this edge of the threads to the center there, we're going to measure that. And then when we get our new one, we will, here we go. I grab from the edge here. Measure to the center. Where's the light? Here we go. Okay, so that's approximately 43, roughly. 43 millimeters, 4.3 centimeters from that edge to the inside edge here. Now obviously there's a little dull spot at the end there, but I'm just going to use that because I don't want to have to measure on the outside. So we're going to use 43 as our measurement. So let's go ahead and source these parts. Props to AutoZone. They had one of these in stock. They always surprise me. In this case, it was right near my office here, my shop, and it was available on the shelf, so I didn't have to worry about having downtime. Here's the old one. You can see, move that around really sloppily. This is the new one, and it moves, but it's firm. It's very firm. So that is definitely going to give us that solution. It has a nice new boot. Again, this one doesn't have a grease cert on it, so it's not something that you can maintain. But let's hope it lasts another 50 years, right? This one does not have a castle nut. You can see on here it's got a nylock. Nylock nuts have a nylon insert at the end of the threads. So once you get to the end, it becomes a resistance that keeps it from backing off. So we'll run through that and see how it works. I mean, if it comes off, it's going to be tragic, but I'm going to have some faith in it. It's a new design. All right, let's get this thing installed and see if it solves our problem.
Go!
All right, so quick little revision here. After trying to get this under the car and getting frustrated, I realized, oh, this is a reverse thread versus a standard thread. So I had to take it back. There are two part numbers for this at AutoZone. The ES419R and the 419L. The R and the L are kind of misleading, because you would think that the L would be the driver's side or the left side of the car, but what it actually refers to is the left-hand thread, which is weird, because you might call that a reverse thread, which would be an R. but it's not. The right-hand thread is what we need for the driver's side. So the R is for the driver's side. It's just weird. Anyway, this one does have a grease cert, oddly. And so we'll be installing a grease cert and then loading that up once we get this installed. But this should screw right in this time. All right, moving along. All right, so there you go. We got this thing screwed in. It just screws straight in. Once you get this this pinch clamp loose, it'll just screw in with no resistance. Now, we pre-measured from this point right there to the center right there, 43 millimeters. So that's about where we need to be. One more screw either direction and we'd be outside of center. So that's where that needs to go. All right, so just to prove the point, by measuring from a static point to a point that we know is going to be similar, these two devices are markedly different. I mean, if you were just to count the threads, you might get close, but I think you might be a whole thread length off because these threads appear to go a little bit further down the shaft. See that right here? And although you do have a center point here, you can see that the molding on the outside is significantly different as well. So you wouldn't be able to do that measurement otherwise. So this should give us a good straight alignment. We won't have any problems with it going forward. So let's go ahead and get this grease cert in and then marry this up down here on the control arm. All right, so real quick note here. I want to point out that I've gone through and cleaned out this mating surface here. I want to make sure that it's going to be metal on metal, no lubrication, none of the grease or anything that had seeped out has gotten into there, because when we marry up this end up here, we want it to be metal on metal so that it fuses together as tightly as it can when we put the torque on there. So you're just going to make sure you clean all that out. There's no debris, nothing in there that's going to cause that not to seat properly. If it vibrates a little, you're going to wear out this control arm and it will go out of round. So that's something to avoid. All right, there we go. Got a new pack of grease in there. You can feel it in there. It's nice and taut. I've got this, what used to be a castle nut is now a nylock nut. And it is torqued to, got my torque wrench here, 30 foot-pounds. You can feel, I don't know if you can, it is tight. It's not going anywhere. It's nice and snug. There's no movement. So we're good. All I gotta do now is tighten this little squash plate here to tighten up the tie rod end and put the wheel on, take it out for a test drive. Let's see how it looks once we get the wheel back on. All right, so with the wheel back on, it is snug. There is no movement. So let's get this thing back down and take it for a test drive. All right, so let's do a little forensics on this old part. You can see, you can feel it. It's kind of crusty and bumpy. It's not really smooth in there. And you can see the grease in there has some texture, which it probably shouldn't have. You wipe it on your finger. You can see there's lumps. There's actually lumps in the grease. That means that something inside here has given away and is no longer round. I have a feeling that it's not metal on metal inside here, but perhaps there's a nylon bushing, because this ball joint itself doesn't look like it's damaged, but it just doesn't have the same resistance as it should. There's a little springy action. I don't know if that should even be in there, but there's definitely some pieces inside that are floating around. Part of me wants to just cut this open with a cutting wheel, just so that I can have a nice little ball joint to make into a a paperweight or something. But I don't know, that would just make a mess. Anyway, this thing is expired. It's a good example of something that was not intended to have any servicing, not even a grease cert in here. But it lasted for 50 some odd years. This is a 79, and this was recorded at the end of January here at 2025. So I mean, do the math on that. This thing lasted for a good long time. Part of me wants to go ahead and replace the other one on the opposite side, but maybe that's another video for another time. All right, let me get this thing out for a test drive and make sure everything is doing what I expected. Oh, it feels like sand in there. Make sure everything is running the way it should be, and we'll call this a done project. All right, here I am at 30 miles an hour. There's no vibration, and just to confirm that the alignment is still true, I've got no hands on the wheel, and we're moving along just fine. It's a bit of a curve here, but there we go. No hands on the wheel, the alignment's just fine. So I think that's a successful project. All right, that's it for the VW today. Make sure you check back next week. I have a lot of other projects to work on here in Alex's garage. Cheers.